Hey there, I'm Brandon. This is the Dirt Church Devotional. Now, I bet you we would all agree that how we live our lives, how we live out our faith and whatnot, will impact those around us. But have you ever considered how you die? Do you realize it's possible to die well? Let me tell you where I'm coming from. Matthew, Mark, and Luke, when they record about Jesus' crucifixion, about his death, all three of them say this about the centurion that was in charge of killing him. It says, when he saw how Jesus died, he declared, surely this was the Son of God. When he saw how he died, not how he lived, but how he died, it impacted him, it changed him, it transformed the man. Church history or church legend says that this man, this centurion, ended up being an evangelist and being a Christian and spreading the gospel. Now, we don't really know. There's a few different legends about the man, but all of them have positive things to say about his life after Jesus' death. Now, after Jesus' death, not only was the centurion impacted, but consider Joseph of Arimathea. He's the wealthy guy that went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body so he could bury him. Joseph of Arimathea was one of the leading council members. He was one of the part of the ruling party, and he didn't go alone, but Nicodemus also went with him. Nicodemus was also a Pharisee and part of the Sanhedrin, part of the ruling council. These men didn't follow Jesus, well, up close and personal when he was alive. It does say that they followed in private because they were afraid, but at Jesus' death, something happened. And they said, we've got to honor this man. At Jesus' death, they came out of the shadows. They came out of the closet, so to speak, from serving Jesus privately to doing it publicly. And you got to consider what they gave up. They would have had to give up their positions on the Sanhedrin because all of their friends, all of their cohorts would have hated them for turning cheeks on them. They gave up their livelihood, most likely, because their benefits, their work, their income would have been tied to their relationship with the Sanhedrin. Not only that, but they allowed themselves, or they made themselves unclean. This was going into a Sabbath, and not just any Sabbath, but a special Sabbath, because it was the conclusion of Passover. They made themselves unclean by touching a dead body. Being unclean meant that they couldn't participate in the religious ceremony of the day, a very important religious ceremony of the day. Because of the way that Jesus died, their lives were transformed. And understand this, it was pre-resurrection. They didn't wait around to see if he was going to rise from the dead. They started serving him the moment that he died. Now, his disciples and his other followers, once he rose from the dead, they got back on board and started following him too. But it was Jesus' death that impacted others. And I say all that to say this: your life is important. The way you live your life is important. It's going to impact people. But don't forget about the way that you die. Oh, I'm not saying you got to actually wait until the day of your physical death. Because Jesus said, if anybody wants to follow me, they got to pick up their cross daily and follow me. Now, what Jesus was saying is you got to die daily. Paul caught that and he said, I die every day. So let me leave you with this thought. It's a good day to die. Die to yourself that you might live to Christ, that lives around you might be transformed. Chew on that. We'll talk to you next time.